Question number 1. In ammeter, 4% of main current is passing through galvanometer. If the shunt resistance is 5 ohm, then resistance of galvanometer will be. Now to calculate resistance of galvanometer, Ig is equal to 4 upon 100 I, where S is equal to Igg upon I minus Ig. Putting the values we get S I minus 4I upon 100 upon 41 upon 4I upon 100, which gives us 96 is upon 4I. I and I gets cancelled. We are left with 24 s, where 24 and value for shunt is nothing but 5 ohms. So putting 24 into 5, which gives us 120 ohms. So option B, 120 ohms, is the correct answer. Question number 2. A straight wire of length 0.5 meter and carrying a current of 1.2 ampere placed in a uniform magnetic field is perpendicular to the length of the wire. The force on the wire is. Now to calculate force on the wire, we have formula F is equal to BI into L, which is 2 into 1.2 into 0.5, which gives us 1.2 Newton. So option B, 1.2 Newton, is the correct answer. Question number 3. Two wires of current 2 ampere and 1 ampere are enclosed in a circular loop. Another wire with current 3 ampere is situated outside the loop as shown. The closed integral of B into dl around the loop is. Now, as we know, according to Ampere's circuited law, closed integral of B into dl is equal to mu 0 I enclosed, which is equal to mu 0. It will become 2 ampere minus 1 ampere, that is current enclosed, which is equal to mu 0. So option A, mu 0, is the correct answer. Question number 4. An ammeter gives full deflection when a current of 2 ampere flows through it. The resistance of ammeter is to be used for measuring a maximum current of 5 ampere. Then the ammeter must be connected with resistance of. Now to solve this question, we know Ig is equal to S upon S plus G into I, which is equal to 2 into S upon S plus 12 into 5. The value for S will be 8 ohms in parallel. So option C, 8 ohms in parallel, is the correct answer. The magnetic field at a distance r from the long wire carrying current I is 0.4 Tesla. The magnetic field at the distance 2r is. So as we know from the formula, V is equal to mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. B is inversely proportional to r. So when r is doubled, B, that is magnetic induction, is half. So 0.4, if it is 0.4 Tesla, this will be 0.2 Tesla. So option A is the correct answer. Question number 6. A long straight wire carries a current of pi ampere. The magnetic field due to it will be 5 into 10 raised to minus 5 Weber per meter square. At what distance from the wire? So now, to solve this question, we know magnetic induction B is given by mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. Substituting the values, magnetic field is already given. 5 into 10 raised to minus 5 is equal to mu 0 upon 2 pi into pi by r, which can be now written as r is equal to mu 0 into pi upon 5 into 10 raised to 5 into 2 pi, which on solving we get value for r as 10 raised to 4 mu 0 meter. So option B, 10 raised to 4 mu 0 meter, is the correct answer. Question number 7. A long straight wire of radius A carries a steady current I. The current is uniformly distributed across its cross section. The ratio of the magnetic field at A by 2 and 2A is. So now we know magnetic field B1 2 pi A by 2 is equal to mu 0 I upon pi A square pi a square by 4. So value for b1 comes down to mu 0 I upon 4 pi a. Equation number 1. b2 2 pi 2a is equal to mu 0 I. So value for b2 is equal to mu 0 I upon 4 pi a. Equation number 2. Dividing equation 1 by equation 2, we get b1 upon b2 is equal to 1. So option C, 1 is the correct answer. Question number 8. Resistance of galvanometer is 500 ohm. Effective resistance of ammeter with shunt is 25 ohms. What is the value of shunt? Now, resistance for shunted ammeter is equal to Gs upon G plus S, or effective resistance. Instead of this, we can also use effective resistance. REFF is equal to Sg upon S plus G, which is equal to 25 is equal to S into 500 upon S plus 500. 500 S is equal to 25S plus 12500. So value for S comes up to be 500 upon 19 ohms. So option A, 500 upon 19 ohms is the correct answer. Question number 9. A galvanometer of resistance 99 ohm requires 5 milliampere current for full scale deflection. It can be converted into ammeter of range 0.5 ampere by connecting a shunt resistance of. So now S is equal to IgG upon I minus Ig, which is equal to 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 99 upon 0.5 minus 5 into 10 raised to minus 3, which on solving gives us 1 ohm. So option B, 1 ohm is the correct answer. Number 10. When a resistance of 100 ohm is connected in series with a galvanometer of resistance R1, its range is V. To the double its range, a resistance of 1000 ohm is connected in series. Find R. So now Rs is equal to V upon Ig minus G. From the first case we get 1000 is equal to V upon Ig minus R. From the second case, first case it was 100 is equal to V upon Ig minus R. Second case is 1000 is equal to 2V upon Ig minus R. Subtracting equation 1 from 2, we get V upon Ig is equal to 900. So value for R is equal to 900 ohms. So option C, 900 ohm is the correct answer. 11. A galvanometer having internal resistance 10 ohm requires 0.01 ampere for full scale deflection. To convert this galvanometer to a voltmeter of full scale deflection of 120 volt, we need to connect a resistance of. Now to solve this question, we know R is equal to V upon Ig minus Rg, which is equal to 120 upon 0.01 minus 10, which is nothing but 11990 ohms in series. So option A, 11990 ohms in series is the correct answer. Question number 12. A charged particle is moving in a uniform magnetic field in a circular path. Radius of circular path is capital R. When energy of particle is double, then the new radius will be. Now to solve this question, we know R is equal to square root 2nk upon qb. So from this I can say that R is directly proportional to square root of k. So R upon R2 will be written as equal to k upon 2k. So R2 is equal to R root 2. So option A, R root 2 is the correct answer. Question number 13. A proton beam enters a magnetic field of 10 raised to minus 4 V per meter square. Normally, if the specific change of the proton is 10 raised to 13 coulomb kg inverse and its velocity is 10 raised to 7 meter second inverse minus 4, then the radius of the circle described will be. So now R is equal to mv upon qb V upon Q upon M. V. R is equal to 10 raised to 9 upon 10 raised to 11 into 10 raised to minus 4, which on solving what we get is 10 raised to 2 meter. So option A, 100 meter is the correct answer. Question number 14. The maximum velocity to which a proton can be accelerated in a cyclotron of 10 megahertz frequency and radius 50 centimeter is. So frequency 10 megahertz, that is 10 raised to 7 hertz. Radius is 50 centimeter, which is 50 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. V is equal to 2 pi RF, that is 2 pi into R. The value for R, that is radius, is 50 into 10 raised to minus 2 and F is 10 raised to 7. On solving, what we get is 3.14 into 10 raised to 7 meter second inverse. So option B, 3.14 into 10 raised to 7 meter second inverse is the correct answer. Question number 15. A particle carrying a charge equal to 100 times the charge on an electron is rotating per second in a circular path of radius 0.8 meter. The value of magnetic field produced at the center will be mu0 is permeability for vacuum. So as we know, I is equal to Q by T will be 100 into E, magnetic field at the center, is equal to mu0 upon 4 pi 2 pi I upon R, which is equal to mu0 upon 4 pi 2 pi into 100 E upon R, which is equal to mu0 into 200 into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 upon 4 into 0.8, which is equal to 10 raised to minus 17 mu0. So option B, 10 raised to minus 17 mu0 is the correct answer. Question number 16. A helium nucleus makes a full rotation in a circle of radius 0.8 meter in 2 seconds. The value of the magnetic field B at the center of the circle will be. So I is equal to Q by T, that is 2 into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 upon 2, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 ampere. Formula for magnetic induction, B is equal to mu0 I upon 2R, which is equal to mu0 into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 upon 2 into 0.8, which is equal to mu0 into 10 raised to minus 19. So option B, mu0 into 10 raised to minus 19 is the correct answer. Question number 17. A circuit contains an ammeter, a battery of 30 volt, a resistance of 40.8 ohm and connected in series. If the ammeter has a coil of resistance 480 ohm and a shunt of 20 ohm, the reading in the ammeter will be. So the diagram is 40.8 ohm, 480 ohm, 20 ohm, 30 volt. Req is equal to 40.8 plus 480 into 20 upon 500, which is equal to 40.8 plus 19.2, that is equal to 60 ohm. I is equal to 30 upon 60, which is equal to 0.5 ampere. So option B, 0.5 ampere is the correct answer. Question number 18. A galvanometer gives full scale deflection when the current passed through it is 3 milliampere. Its resistance is 100 ohms without connecting additional resistance in series. Then it can be used as voltmeter of range. So we know formula, R is equal to V upon I minus G. 0 is equal to V upon 3 into 10 raised to minus 3 minus 100. V is equal to 100 into 3 into 10 raised to minus 3 is equal to 0.3 volt. So option B, 0.3 volt is the correct answer. Question number 19. A voltmeter of range 3 volt and resistance of 200 ohm cannot be converted to an ammeter of range. Now, We know Ig is V by R, 3 upon 200, which will give us 15 milliampere. So 10 milliampere is less than 15 milliampere. So I is less than Ig. So I not equal to 10 milliampere. So option A cannot be converted into 10 raised to milliampere, 10 raised to or 10 milliampere is the correct answer. Question number 20. A moving coil galvanometer of resistance 5 ohm has voltage sensitivity 2 divisions per millivolt. Its current sensitivity in division per milliampere is. So voltage sensitivity is equal to current sensitivity upon G. So 2 divisions per millivolt is equal to current sensitivity upon galvanometer is 5 ohms. Resistance to the galvanometer is 5 ohms. So SI will be 10 divisions per milliampere. 5 will go your multiplication. So now option A 10 is the correct answer. Question number 21. A galvanometer of resistance 95 ohm shunted by a resistance of 5 ohm gives reflection of 50 divisions when joined in series with resistance of 20 kilo ohm and 2 volt accumulator. The current sensitivity of the galvanometer per microampere is. Now we know I is V by R according to Ohm's law. So 2 upon 20 kilo ohm, which is 0.1 milliampere, which can be written as 100 microampere. Sensitivity S is nothing but d theta by di, which is equal to 50 upon 100, which is 1 by 2 divisions per microampere. So option A 1 by 2 is the correct answer. Question number 22. A moving coil galvanometer has 28 turns and area of coil is 4 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter square. If the magnetic field is 2 Tesla, 0.2 Tesla, then to increase the current sensitivity by 25% without changing area and the field, the number of turns should be changed to. So now current sensitivity S is d theta by di, which is also equal to 1 by E, which is equal to NAB upon C. So we can say S is directly proportional to N. So S dash upon S is equal to N dash upon N. So now N dash can be written as 125 upon 100 into 28, which is equal to 35. So option B 35 is the correct answer. Question number 23. A galvanometer has a current sensitivity of 5 divisions per milliampere and voltage sensitivity of 1 division per millivolt. The galvanometer has 30 divisions and it is to be used as ammeter to read 6 ampere. This requires a shunt of value. So now 5 divisions is equal to 1 milliampere. So 30 divisions will be 6 milliampere, which is equal to 6 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. So 1 division is equal to 1 millivolt. 30 divisions will be 30 millivolt. So 30 divisions can also be written as 30 into 10 raised to minus 3 volt. G is equal to V upon Ig, which is equal to 30 into 10 raised to minus 3 upon 6 into 10 raised to minus 3, which on solving gives us 5 ohm. The value for G is 5 ohm. And we have formula S upon S plus G is equal to Ig upon I. So S upon S plus 5 is equal to 6 into 10 raised to minus 3 upon 6, which is equal to 10 raised to minus 3. S is equal to 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 upon 1 minus 10 raised to minus 3, which is equal to 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 upon 1000 minus 1 upon 1000, which on solving we get 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 10 raised to 3 upon 999, which is equal to 5 upon 999 ohms. So option A 5 upon 999 ohm is the 5 upon 999 ohm is the correct answer. Question number 24. A cyclotron in which flux density is 1.4 Tesla is employed to accelerate protons. How rapidly should the field between the Ds be reserved if the mass of proton be taken as 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg? So now cyclotron frequency F is given by QB upon 2 pi m. Q is the charge of the proton. F is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 into 1.4 upon 2 into 22 by 7 into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 27 equal to 49 upon 22 into 10 raised to 7 hertz. So 49 upon 22 to 10 raised to 7 hertz, that is option B, is the correct answer. Question number 25. In a cyclotron, the time taken by ion to describe a semicircular path is 2.3 into 10 raised to minus 8 seconds. The cyclotron frequency will be. Now to calculate the cyclotron frequency, time is 2.3 into 10 raised to minus 8 seconds. T is equal to 2t, which is equal to 4.6 into 10 raised to minus 8. F, that is frequency, is 1 by t, is 1 upon 4.6 into 10 raised to minus 8. On solving, we get 2.1 into 10 raised to 7 hertz. So option B, 2.1 into 10 raised to 7 hertz, is the correct answer. Question number 26. The maximum kinetic energy of proton in a cyclotron of radius 0.4 meter in a magnetic field of 0.5 Tesla is. So mass of the proton and charge of the proton are given. We know kinetic energy Ke. The formula for kinetic energy: Q square B square R square upon 2m, which is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 the whole square into 0.5 the whole square into 4 into 10 raised to minus 1 the whole square upon 2 into 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27, which on solving we get 1.6 the whole square into 10 raised to minus 38 into 25 into 10 raised to minus 2 into 16 into 10 raised to minus 2 upon 2 into 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27, which is equal to 1024 into 10 raised to minus 42 upon 3.34 into 10 raised to minus 27. 306.58 into 10 raised to minus 15. So 3.06 into 10 raised to minus 13 joules is equal to 3.06 into 10 raised to minus 13 upon 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 in terms of electron volt. On solving, we get 1.9 into 10 raised to 6 electron volt. So that is equal to 1.9 MeV. So option B, 1.9 MeV, is the correct answer. Question number 27. If a long hollow copper wire carries a direct current, magnetic field associated with the current will be. So now, if there is a long hollow copper wire inside the pipe, I will be equal to 0. So magnetic field B, that is mu 0 I upon 2 pi r, will also be equal to 0. So magnetic field associated with the current will be only outside the pipe. So option B is the correct answer. Question number 28. The magnetic field at the center of the circular coil of radius r carrying current I is B1. The field at the center of the another coil of radius 2r carrying same current I is B2. The ratio B1 is upon B2 is. So now, as we know, B is inversely proportional to R. B1 by B2 is equal to R2 by R1. But value for R2 is nothing but 2R upon R. R and R gets cancelled. We are left with answer as 2. So option C, 2, is the correct answer. Question number 29. If proton neutron alpha particle, on being accelerated by same potential difference, enters perpendicular to magnetic field, the ratio of the kinetic energy is. So we know kinetic energy in magnetic field remains constant, and its kinetic energy Ke is equal to Qv, where we can say kinetic energy is directly proportional to Q, V is constant. So kinetic energy of proton is to kinetic energy of deuteron is to kinetic energy of alpha particle is equal to QP is to QD is to QA, which is equal to 1 is to 1 is to 2. So option D, 1 is to 1 is to 2, is the correct answer. Question number 30. A galvanometer of resistance 4 ohm, the percentage of total current passing through galvanometer is. So we know Ig upon I is equal to S upon S plus G, which is equal to 4 upon 40. So Ig upon I multiplied by 100 will give us 4 upon 40 multiplied by 100, which on solving we get 10%. So now option B, 10%, is the correct answer.